I'm really sorry to start the show this way.
We're working to make life more affordable, deliver you the supports you need. So let's go over the 5 different benefits we're delivering this month. First is our newest benefit, which we recently passed in the House of Commons, called the grocery rebate. If you're a family with 2 kids earning a low or modest income, you could receive over $450. That's going out on July 5th, and about 11 million Canadians will be eligible. Another one is the GST HST credit. This is a payment that goes out tax-free to individuals and families with low and modest incomes. If you're a single Canadian, you may be eligible for up to $496 a year, with payments also going out on July 5th. If you're a family with kids, you probably already know full well about the Canada Child Benefit, which is hundreds of dollars a month tax-free to help you with the high costs of raising children. Well, every July, that amount is adjusted based on your family income and indexed to inflation. So coming July 20th, you'll get the updated payments. If you live in any of these provinces, you'll be receiving your summer pollution price rebate between July 14th and July 21st.
Summer pollution.
More money back in the pockets of families while fighting climate change and protecting our environment. And finally, payments for the Canada Pension Plan will be delivered on July 27th. If you're retired, this money is here to support you and will vary based on your previous income. That was a lot of information, and you can find out more about each of them at canada.ca/benefits. But at the end of the day, what you need to know is this.
And then it loops together. And then it loops back. I'm sorry we had to start with that, but we have to. Oh my effing G is indeed the level of absurdity. Parody and reality have crossed paths, have merged. This is the most it's just crap. I mean, it's just crap. Not that I produce the highest quality stuff, but I can edit a video in my car on my iPhone in 15 minutes, and it would look like a Stanley Kubrick movie compared to this crap. Did you hear me? I got to bring up the part. It was somewhere about here. It was here.
Receiving your summer pollution price rebate.
Your summer pollution price rebate. What in the bloody hell are you talking about, Justin? What does it do, by the way?
Between July 14th and July 21st.
Your summer price pollution rebate.
It puts more money back in the pockets of families while fighting climate change and protecting our environment.
Do you know what it does to fight climate change? Canadians who have had your taxpayer dollars taken from you so that they can give you back pennies on the dollar that they took. It does jack squat for climate change. It does jack diddly squat. Like, people don't even understand this. You could shut Canada down entirely. You could prevent Canadians from breathing. Canadians and Canada, I believe, are responsible for 1%, 1.5% of global emissions. Even if you assume that global emissions are the be-all and end-all of the climate crisis. So you could shut Canada off, and it will do nothing for the purported climate crisis, in as much as you are even inclined to believe that such a climate crisis exists. Now, but by the way, Justin, by the way, did you notice how he said, there's upwards of 11 million Canadians that are eligible for the grocery rebate, which means that there are upwards of 11 million Canadians who are having trouble paying for their groceries. All the while, I'm going to pull up this article in a second. Canada to help Ukraine with another $500 million and weapons. Trudeau, there used to be a word for, supplying weapons to foreign countries to finance and facilitate war. Arms dealers. That's one, 500 million. I can't even keep track of how much Canada has given, because you can't get a clear answer in the paper. 59, this is old. This is April. Canada spending $59 million on assault rifles, machine guns for Ukraine. What was the last one here? This is all. Can't even keep track of it anymore. Canada has also contributed more than $8 billion to efforts related to the war in Ukraine since last year. Now, that's not all just cash out of our back pockets. That included launching special immigration programs to allow Ukrainians to come to Canada quickly with a temporary work and study permit. I think most people would agree with that in theory. instead of going through the usual refugee system. $8 billion. Some of it's a loan. I don't know what the terms are in terms of how you get that loan paid back. Some of it's arms. Some of it's weaponry. Some of it's just take money from Canada and give it to finance a proxy war in Ukraine against Russia. All the while, upwards of 11 million Canadians can't even pay for their own groceries. Woo! But that TikTok video, Justin Trudeau has literally become TikTok Trudeau. That's my hashtag. He's literally regressed. He says, like, he had people in the think tank say, I was going to say, Viva, Justin, you know how you can really relate to the kids these days? Make a shitty TikTok video. Make a video that is cram-packed with verbal diarrhea, your summer pollution price rebate. Make a TikTok video cram-packed with verbal diarrhea about how you're throwing cents on the dollar back to Canadian citizens. Although, in fairness, maybe some of the people receiving these benefits didn't pay into the system in the first place in terms of tax dollars. So they're not getting some of their tax dollars back. They're getting someone else's tax dollars because the government has made their life unlivable. It's made groceries unbuyable. Let's make a disgusting, cheesy, awful TikTok video, because that's how you're going to get the attention of the younger people. And they're just going to think that you're just throwing money out, handing money out. Kind of like, Joe Biden making promises to the younger generation that he can't keep. Justin Trudeau is just throwing cash around. $450. You get $498 if you have kids. It's amazing. The government has shut you down, ruined your business, ruined your livelihood, transferred massive amounts of wealth elsewhere out of your pocket, driven up the price of gas, driven up the price of groceries because of a proxy war that they're fighting in Ukraine versus Russia. However you feel about that, I think it's pretty well accepted now that it is a proxy war that is being fought using Ukraine and Ukraine civilians to not deplatform, for regime change in Russia. Let's cause a slew of problems and then make a crappy TikTok video about how we're giving you back a few dollars because of how we've destroyed your lives. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and by the way, we're just going to replace you in your own country as well, because Canadian population is not growing enough. People seem to be leaving the country, and how do we falsify that statistic in order to be able to claim through our dishonest government-subsidized media that Canada is growing and really doing great, according to Bloomberg? Canada is totally winning, according to Bloomberg. What do? To counter declining population, immigration, open your freaking borders, limitless immigration, such that by the end of the century, Canada's population is expected to more than double because of immigration. Nothing wrong with that if you're, sort of into that type of policy, but appreciate it for what it is. All right, we've got a very interesting surprise show today. I wasn't going to go live, but I think we have had some developments on Erica Marsh. I think her Twitter handle was Erica Reports. I forget what the actual account was. It's since been suspended. And there's a journalist out there who I discovered yesterday who broke the story that this ridiculous Twitter account that was so idiotic in its content, it was unclear if it was parody or reality, widely interacted with a lot of blue checkmark Dems. There's some news on that. It appears that Erica Marsh is in fact a fake AI-generated image of sorts, fake account used. I've got to ask the question, what purpose this all serves, because we're going to get into it. But the reporter, Greg, and I forgot his last name because I'm a bastard. Hold on one second. Greg Bolden. Sorry, I was thinking Boulder, but Greg Bolden is the journalist who seems to have cracked the story. He's going to be on in 5 minutes. He has a half an hour with us, which is why I started a little early to let people trickle in so that we could talk about this story. Then we're going to go to Rumble and Locals. We're going to cover Hirschman, some recent articles that I didn't know had been published. So if I didn't know, I presume other people didn't as well. From Yale Medicine, from McGill, and what other stuff? We have some stuff on the back burner. Before we get into that, let's just make sure that we're all good here. Mike Pierce. I can bring it up. What am I doing here? I demand answers, Viva. Why do you hate Leonard Part 6 so much? Ridiculously stupid is the point of the movie. Do we need to get a doll so you can point to where the bad movie touched you? Look, I haven't seen Leonard Part 6. It's a Bill Cosby, classic. I haven't seen it since I was 8 years old. I just remember one scene where Bill Cosby shoots a gun and the gun ricochets off every, trays, walls, all this stuff, and then hits the bad guy in the head. Yeah, the movie is widely heralded as being one of the worst movies of all time. So I don't really know why I hate it. I just remember that I said it was the most ridiculous movie I'd ever seen. That, coupled with the knowledge that it's widely rated as being one of the worst movies of all time. And so that's how I've made that memory a reality. Speaking of which, maybe I'll do a movie review afterwards. I watched The Interview with Seth Rogen and James Franco about the interview with Kim Jong-un. I was mildly surprised that the movie did not suck. That's my threshold now for a good movie. If I don't come out of it angry and say I just wasted an hour and a half of my life, if it's not a total crap fest, I'm mildly surprised given the level of shizer movies these days. Hold on, but all that to say, by the way, standard disclaimers. There will be no medical advice, despite the fact that we're going to be talking about Hirschman, the embalmer, his findings, and some, arguments that people seem to be lacking basic logic, tactics, techniques. We're going to talk about that. But there's no medical advice. There's no election fortification advice, no legal advice. When you see these beautiful things and it's some dollar sign and it's a way to support the channel, YouTube has these things called Rumble Rants. I'm an idiot. YouTube has Super Chats. Rumble has Rumble Rants. YouTube takes 30% of those. So if you don't really feel like supporting YouTube, but you want to support me and my endeavors, or Robert Barnes and our endeavors, Rumble Rants, they take 20% on Rumble, but they're taking 0 for the rest of the year. So all of it goes to the creator. Or you can go to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. $7 a year, $7 a month. Don't anyone get me on false advertising. $7 a month, $70 a year discounted rate or more. Some people actually willingly support us with more than that. You get a ton of great content, a ton of wonderful community. We're currently designing a new shirt because everyone in our community is above average. So we're going to have a shirt that says I'm above average and I need to consult with our community. And what else? That is it. You may have noticed coming into the stream, it said this stream contains a paid sponsorship, because it does. Because it's something that I use and it's something that's easy to sponsor because it's good. I like it. It's healthy. Fieldofgreens.com. Powdered greens are the rage these days. It's a healthy alternative to bad habits. It's actually just a healthy practice. Most people don't know you're supposed to have between 5 and 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables daily. I always have that. Typically, unless I'm traveling, it's impossible to find fresh greens and fruits when you're traveling, which is when Field of Greens is especially useful. I was in Texas I guess it was almost a year ago. We're living off fast food. Could not get fresh fruits and vegetables. People are supposed to have 5 to 7 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, and most people don't. Desiccated greens. It's not a supplement. It's not an extract. It's a food. USDA organic, made in America. 1 spoonful contains 1 serving of fruits and vegetables with all of their antioxidant superpower stuff for fruits and vegetables. It tastes good, sweet, delicious, looks like swamp water. And I say that because swamp water is swamp water because it's high in nutrients and it is the water of life. It's where fish go to spawn, where frogs grow. It's delicious. It's healthy, made in America, USDA organic. It's a food, not a supplement. And not only do they endorse me, but I highly recommend it because I was using this before they actually were a sponsor of the channel. So go to the website, fieldofgreens.com. It brings you to Brickhouse Nutrition. Promo code VIVA gets you 15% off your order. Link is in the description. Thank you, Field of Greens. And now I see our guest in the backdrop just in time. Oh, 1 second. He says, okay, while we get, don't worry, I'll leave you there. Give me the thumbs up when you're ready to come in. You ready now? Okay, here we go, people. Greg.
Sorry, I was getting my microphone set up. I was coming through my computer audio. I'm on vacation with the family for the 4th, so I'm not in my studio to be able to do much. But glad to be here. I don't know that I have a ton of additional info, but I can share some extra evidence that I did not post. It was kind of my keeping the receipts just in case people said, this was you connecting the dots a little too far-fetched. I have things that are much more connected back to Rhinestone or Rheingold Consulting.
Hold on a second.
So we'll get into it. Let's see where you want to go.
What I love, you don't have to realize, like, the studio doesn't matter. The mic is the most important thing, and you're traveling with your mic, which is good.
I do, yes.
Thank you for joining me, on such short notice, but also while you're on vacation. Okay, Greg, before we even get into any of this, who are you? Like, I think a lot of people are going to be meeting you for the first time right now.
Yeah, I'm nobody. I mean,
by the way, I discovered you yesterday, but you seem to be doing journalism. Whether or not you think you're a journalist, you seem to be journalizing.
So, I mean, I've been in DC before. I've interviewed people like Jill Stein, Ron Paul, and I've gotten credentialed to do those type of things. I have a show Monday through Friday on the America Out Loud Network. I'm a podcaster. Citizen journalism, alternative media, I guess that's what you could label me as. But I don't aim to be an influencer by any means. And I really thought that my tweet yesterday might be seen by like 10,000 people total. And I woke up this morning, we're at, I think, closing on 4 million. And my life has been turned upside down. My phone won't stop vibrating. And I'm just reporting stuff that was already publicly out there. I can't take credit for what I posted 100%. I simply looked at all the other research that was there, and then I was able to connect the dots with the smoking gun, finding out that Erica Marsh's profile photo with the field in the background was taken by the gentleman who runs Rheingold Consulting. And that's the smoking gun that I haven't shared with anybody. It's going to be in my Substack later today. I shared the images and showed the evidence exactly where it's at. The guy, I've asked for him to speak with me to give an opinion on all this. He's declined to speak with me. He's now blocked me. And he declined to speak with Heavy.com's reporter, who was running the exact same story 3 days ago. So again, I can't take credit for like, this is an original Greg Bolden moment. I'm not going to do that.
Well, but sometimes, the revolutionary act is just piecing together that which is already there, but people are busy and they don't look into it themselves. But even we'll back it up a little bit before we go forward again.
Sure.
You'll give me all of your links, which I'll put in the pinned comment. You independent journalist of sorts, influencer. Sure. Right? That term is a terrible term, but you
I don't want to be an influencer.
But you're not foreign to this domain. So you've been doing podcasts. No. You have a social media presence.
Yes.
For those who don't know, this Erica Marsh, she looks like the photo. I initially thought it was a woman from the Brady Bunch. I did a reverse image search a while back. Didn't find anything over the top, so I just go on thinking it's just another dumb Democrat Twitter account that puts out the most, puts out politically partisan stuff, much like Brooklyn Defiant Dad, much like Rob Reiner, much like a bunch of other, much like Republicans against Trump.
But making Democrats look bad too. I mean, these were over the top. It wasn't good press for Democrats whatsoever.
That's where when I don't understand the reason of this, they don't need an Erica. So Erica Marsh there was a tweet. I can't get any of them now because she's been suspended. The account has been suspended, so I can't even get the ones that I've interacted with in the past. At one point said, raise your hand if you're vaccinated and happy or something. And I interacted with it. There was another one. Like just not over the top, but just like you'd think it could be parody, but then you flip through the account, you see who engages with it. It's close enough to reality and not clearly parody. So people have seen that account from before. It was like, oh, Erica Marsh. Some people had put together. It's a character from One Tree Hill. I'm thinking it doesn't matter. This, names are names,
right?
And then so people had been suspecting this account was parody troll-ish for a while. The one that really almost pushed me over the top, but then I came back on it was the one that she put out about the Supreme Court decision on the Harvard admissions. No black person will ever succeed in a merit-based system. And I put out to you like, holy crap, this is it. It's parody. Well played.
Right.
How long had you been familiar with this account for? And when did you decide to look into it?
So it came up on my show on Friday. My co-host, I host a show with somebody else only on Fridays, and he called her a friend of Bill Gates' daughter. I was like, I don't know who this person is. And so that led me to not want to have misinformation on my show. I was like, well, Bill Gates' daughter is not linked to her. And that led me down this rabbit hole of, I got to find out where this AI image came from, because I found out that Heavy.com, they ran this image of it being an AI generated that a bunch of digital marketing websites had access to. And when I started tracking that down, I was able to get this company that was listed in Belgium, but the guy's from Germany. So that's like the people are confused when I posted Belgium and they're like, but this guy's in Germany. I get that. But the information that I had available to me, I'm just reporting as it came up as Belgium. And when I mapped it, I was like, all right, so here we have an AI image, and we have an AI image then that's being broadcast on her account. Therefore, we know that the person behind the tweets isn't who they say they are. That's not a blonde, or if it is a blonde, it doesn't look like Erica Marsh. So I was confident at that point in time that I had unearthed what was an AI avatar that was tweeting out information. Now, I needed to figure out why. Like, what is the relationship to this? So I started putting it out through my channels. And a person was able to show me that Rheingold Consulting, the owner that I called out, he had taken photos on a website called 500 Pics. And guess what? Erica Marsh's background photo with the green or yellow and green flowers is one of the photos that he took in the fields of Germany.
Let me bring this picture. I'll bring that picture up.
Oh, do you have that photo? I haven't published it yet, so that's why I was. Oh, you're going to bring up her profile photo.
Yeah, I'll bring up her profile.
I'm going to be publishing on my Substack his photo of it so people can see.
Let me ask you the first question, the most obvious one. How does anyone determine it's an AI generated image?
Sure. Well, one, I think you should know my background. I didn't go into that. I teach this for a living. So in addition to being a podcaster, I'm a degree in television and film. I've been highly involved in artificial intelligence, avatars for the dissemination of information. And I'm going to connect that in my article later today. I'll go through that for everybody. But right now, with Adobe Voco, ChatGPT, and all the different tools that are available to you, you and I, by having this conversation right now, anyone can clone our voices after 20 seconds. The software is out there. We're putting it on Rumble. If somebody wants to make it sound like Greg Bolden said something, they can. Now they can take my image, they can take my face if I have enough photos online, and then create a video of me and do whatever as well. The AI image looked too soft for me. If someone's going to get a professional photo done, I shoot 56 megapixel images on headshots. That's not a 56 megapixel image. It's closer to about 10. That's showing me too that maybe that's not exactly accurate. The face is very perfect as well. The field that's in the background there, I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can find.
I mean, that field is the literal idea behind the Ukrainian flag. It's fields of green, fields of grain and skies of blue.
That's correct. But it's also, and I don't have the image up on my computer right now, darn it. Yeah, so it's also an image that was taken in Germany.
Okay.
That is a field in Germany. I have the exact location. It's geotagged with the windmill in the field as well.
Okay, hold on. Now that you mention it, I'm going to bring this back up and then just look at that. Right. Let me just zoom in. It's cropped. This is the best one I could find, but there's a windmill
in the background. Yep. That's located in Germany. And that's one of Michael's alleged pictures. I'm saying alleged because 500 pics, that's his account, according to this, but I'm so deep into the woods right now on this. I really wish this guy would take my phone call.
So you determine, the idea is it's an AI generated image. It's not a very high resolution. Now you've determined.
Well, you also have to go back to the other images that I posted. It has like 6 shots of her that is actually an AI generated fake person. That's her. But it's a different version of her. And the software that creates these, they can create different head-on, different backgrounds. And so in my post yesterday, I put up that post so people could see, here are the 6 images of Erica Marsh. They're identical, but it's her as a different, she's wearing different clothing. That is from an AI, artificial intelligence dissemination, which linked back to the consulting group. Again, maybe the consulting group purchased her image. Maybe it's all innocent. But I deal with the fact that I felt like I had enough to go on it. There it is right there.
Yeah.
That's an AI image. That's not real.
It's amazing. She looks like the actress from it's either Road Trip or
and might have AI might have used One Tree Hill and the different actresses in order to create that.
Okay, amazing. So phenomenal. So whether or not it's fully settled in for everybody else, you determine it's an AI image. Let me bring our screen out here. And then how did you make the connection to this German company again?
So right there on that image.
hold on. Go back to it. Up. Yep.
So right there on that image, if you look at the one that's highlighted.
Yep.
Read the name of the company.
Digital Marketing Performance. Reinhardt Consulting.
Now when it's clicked on, scroll back up. When it's clicked on, look at Digital Marketing Performance, and there's Michael's photo right alongside it.
Oh, I see in this little thing right here.
It's like staring me in the face. And then I went to the website and I was like, all right, why does he have Erica Marsh? Now I cannot get any answers on this. So I simply published what I had. I published and went live with it because I was 100% positive that there was at least a connection to his firm, whether he purchased this image or he created it. especially with that background. And the second thing I was positive was she was not a real person in the sense of how she was being presented. I don't think this is AI. I don't think this is a bot that's making these tweets. I think this is a person that's trolling people and having fun with it. The question is, who's financing this type of stuff? Because I was talking with Michael Schellenberger in a space last night, who was with the Twitter files. And on the Twitter files, you can see he talks about how the alphabet agencies in this country have used social media accounts with very low followers at times in order to influence public perception on issues. And so this is a very dangerous technology in the wrong hands. This could influence elections. This can influence the way that public policy and conversations are going in this country. And so I really think that this is a great conversation to have regarding what the Republicans and the Democrats can do in order to weaponize social media against the masses.
Okay, so now the individual, incidentally, has blocked me as well. I've never knowingly interacted with him. So after that tweet from last week, Erica Marsh says, this decision's a disgrace. No black person's ever going to succeed again. And then I say, well, it's parody. Then you scroll down and someone says, are you parody? Sincerely, tell me. She says, I'm not parody. Now, that would be where it violates Twitter rules if the parody account denies being parody or conceals it. Parody or troll or whatever. Then there was also a tweet last week where Erica Marsh apparently tweeted out, does anyone know a good defamation lawyer? And then I made a joke, is the NAACP coming after you because of your Harvard decision tweet? And
did you see who made that post first the day before?
I did not. Now I now know who did, because apparently, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, was it not the German guy?
No, Brian Krasenstein.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Well, okay, now I'm thinking logical explanations. Maybe Krasenstein interacted with Marsha, thinking she's not Marsha, thinking that she's real.
And if it is a bot, it's combing through his tweets and parroting them, or it's looking for the person is parroting what he's doing and putting it. And we talked about, Brian was on with me on a space last night. We actually spoke exactly about that. Brian is real. He is not a bot, ladies and gentlemen. He's a very real person.
But Greg,
his brother.
This is my ultimate, my ultimate, not takeaway, but my ultimate conundrum. I don't need an Erica Marsh fake account. I thought Krasenstein
when you have Brian,
because you have Krasenstein. I know that he's real because I've interacted with him. And he's been on Twitter Spaces. I've seen his face. I've seen him in real time, unless he's just a bot. But some of the crap that he spews, some of the crap that Eric Fagel-Ding spews, is not any dumber than what Erica Marsh was spewing. So I just don't. We'll get into the tactics as to why this is even what potential benefit other than sowing discord. So Krasenstein, who's a real person that we've seen. I hope. Who knows?
He's real.
The day before,
I've spoken to him. He's very real.
But as have I. But I don't trust anything anymore. Like how?
No. I do Twitter Space with the Mario Nawfall with Brian. There's video, and he's a real guy.
Okay, but
I don't want to start any conspiracies or anything else. Brian and Ed are real people, and no, I don't agree with half they say, but they're actually very thoughtful. And outside of Twitter, when you're speaking with them, they're lovely human beings to speak with. They really are. And
incidentally, I'm not, don't anyone think I'm going crazy, but I think this is maybe part and parcel of this, to get people to trust nothing, to feel totally destabilized.
So here's something I want to bring up to you. Okay. I asked him last night, I said, I'm more of a journalist. I don't see myself as an influencer. I don't like the fact I'm getting all these follows. I don't want you to follow me. I'm glad that you found the content.
Go follow him.
No. I really my phone's blowing up. It makes me really uncomfortable. I'm a little guy who just reports stuff and has a really good time doing my podcast and stuff. I never expected this type of attention. But I asked Brian, I said, Brian, do you see yourself, because you put journalist as the first part of your bio. Do you see yourself as a journalist, or do you see yourself as an influencer? Because I got to be honest, your posting seems more like an influencer and less like a journalist. And Brian owned last night on the space that he is an influencer. He gets paid for the content that he publishes, and he no longer sees himself as a journalist, although he did journalism before. And so I appreciate him putting that out there.
He had previously, I think he had made a joke about getting paid and sort of to write it off. But
he gets paid.
He gets paid. Harry J. Sisson gets paid. Well, they get paid for the posts by the people on behalf of whom they're making their posts. Right. So, getting paid by a community does not make you a mouthpiece for that community. but not disclosing that you're getting paid by the people who you are publicly supporting makes you a mouthpiece, and a dishonest one at that. I just want the thing is that Erica said exactly what Democrats think. She said exactly what other Democrat handles were saying. Krasenstein, Harry J. Sisson, Eric Fagel-Ding. There's another one, Brooklyn Defiant, Brooklyn Dad, who we also know is getting paid. He seems to be a real person as well.
Rob Reiner.
Does Rob? I mean, this is the thing. Now, some people are suggesting that some of these real celebrity accounts are being taken over by these. What's the word I'm looking for? Agencies.
They're agents.
So now the guy who blocked us all here, the one that you sort of blew the lid on, seemingly, apparently.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Does he run one of those types of agencies?
I don't know. I have information that I have not verified at the present moment, so I cannot. That would be defamation if I went there with this, and I refuse to do that. But I do have stuff that people have sent me that I'm working to verify right now that ties him to some other things. But the internet is sending me so much right now. I'm working with a couple other journalists to try to verify. So maybe sometime soon I might have more to say on that, but right now I can't definitively make a statement.
Cool. And it was, in fact, Victor Shi was one of the other names I was looking for. So you pieced this all together. You put out the tweet yesterday, say Erica Marsh is not real. I repeat, she's not real. No. And I do have an operating theory that it actually doesn't matter if she's real. It matters who ends up repeating it, appropriating that information, and what they do with it. What is I guess I've asked the question, but like the idea behind this, it makes Democrats look dumb. But it also makes, I guess, to some extent, people who interact with it, conservatives who react, it makes them look dumb for reacting with a bot account after you find out. It makes everyone look dumb. Yeah,
it's social geoengineering. So if you read Plato's Republic, and if you ever listen to my podcast, I go into Greek mythology, often telling the stories about, the allegory of the cave and how it relates to modern day politics. But Plato's Republic, he talked about how to get people to believe in an ideal state. And you do that through what political science has now deemed what's called path modeling. If you would like your population to be able to accept a certain narrative, then you have to create a path model in order to do that. What better way to create that path model but through social influencers? The White House used it during the pandemic, bringing on all the social influencers saying, go get a vaccine, right? And it was highly, using the public good, so to speak, at the time, in order to try to raise vaccine awareness. And that's neither, if you believe in vaccines, don't believe in vaccines, I'm not into that conversation for you. Just getting to the point of social engineering has been going on in this country, and it's been ratcheted up over the past really 5 years under Trump. Some people look at the Smith-Mundt Act and the relaxing of propaganda rules under Obama as a possibility for why that started happening. But I think right now people have realized that you can weaponize Twitter. Look at the Twitter files. I mentioned Michael Schellenberg earlier. You also have Matt Taibbi. They've put all this stuff out that the government understands that they can get very low profiles with 100 people that are following them that are actually government profiles in order to parrot a narrative to make it popular. Because ever since you were a child, you already know whatever's popular is what people vote for, right? People want to be in the winning club. And right now we have a politicized and we have a very split decision on that between Joe Biden and Donald Trump coming up in the next election. I personally wish it was neither of them. I wish we could go into something new, but that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. But yeah, so it's all social engineering. It's part of what's called path modeling. You can look that up and learn a little bit more about it. And I called it, when I saw it on the guy's profile, SEOs call it social selling. Right? How do you sell society on something? And that was right on his LinkedIn page when I looked him up, and I was like, oh, look at this. It's not even hidden. That's what his consulting group does, social selling, which ties really back to Erica too. I really wish that he would do an interview with you or with anybody to answer for this and explain why his page is tied to all this. I think that we deserve an answer on that.
And he has, from everyone else's response out there as well, he's systematically blocked. It might be a block list, so anybody who interacted with ever. And I suspect he might be getting harassed.
He is. And can I say something to your listeners?
Oh, yeah.
If you're harassing...
my listeners don't need to hear it, but some people out there need to hear it.
Yeah, people need to hear this. Do not harass this guy. Like, nothing about my post was harassing. I didn't send him any disrespectful messages. I simply pointed out what was going on. But there are people I saw on his page before he blocked me that were creating horrible conspiracy theories that he's part of this deep state and everything else. He could be, But like, if that's where you're going to go, this guy is not going to talk to any of us. Like, we were really close to getting a piece of a puzzle. And a lot of people just ruin that because the guy has run into hiding. Like I said earlier, if you want to look up another article, I think it was heavy.com. I don't remember her name. I think it was not Erica, because Erica is who I'm talking about. It was, I'll bring it up in just a few moments for you.
Hold on. I'll see if I can find it here.
Yeah, heavy.com ran the same story that I ran. I didn't even know about it till this morning. Somebody sent it to me and I was like, oh, look, she already tried reaching out to him and he refused to speak with her as well. I was like, that's good information for me to have. Jessica McBride.
Okay, Jessica, where do I see the author of this article here? Here we go. Jessica McBride on the right. Okay. Yep. This is the right one. Erica Marsh is the name of the political Twitter account whose tweet about the Supreme Court. It's funny that was the tweet that got everybody. Before then, everyone was like, "Oh, she's just another Krasenstein." You're like a young, attractive person who's
like, wait, you went to racism. Here we go. We gotta call out the watchdogs now.
Look, you're more optimistic than me. I think even if this guy had not been harassed, I think his fear is not a rowdy Twitter crowd. I think his fear is government agencies themselves. If he's not already part of one, and if he is, he's certainly got to conceal that or make sure that that's not known. Because if it turns out. What was there was a latest scandal about, it was Harry J. Sisson about not being paid by the DNC, where, he works for an agency. What was it called? It starts with a P. He works for an agency that works with the DNC, and he's trying to deny that he's a DNC spokesperson. He says what he believes, he'd be saying it anyhow. And yet he works with an agency that gets paid by the DNC hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he puts out Erica Marsh level stupidity on his Twitter feed. Dude, so first of all, if I may ask your background again, I mean, you clearly studied philosophy.
So television and film. Went to a private Catholic college, small little Catholic college up in Pennsylvania called DeSales University, where I studied theology and philosophy. While I was also getting my television and film degree. Worked in industry. Been a teacher. Currently teach at a high school, but I've taught at the college level, taught at the grade school level, and I teach audio, radio, video broadcast engineering. So I teach young people how to become radio podcasters, television producers, etc. So that's my background. And then my show got picked up by the America Out Loud Network last July. And I've been broadcasting with them every Monday through Friday ever since. Before then, I was independently produced, telling stories about young people and the hardships that they go through on a show called The Outlet. But my show now is called America Emboldened. And, I have people like Dr. Peter McCullough as regulars on my show. And basically, if there's somebody that I find interesting that news isn't covering, actually, here's something for your listeners. I'm the guy who interviewed and had the exclusive with John Paul Mac Isaac. Hunter Biden's laptop. Mm-hmm. He did an hour and 45-minute long interview where I got to ask him questions about his motives. And it was, I think, probably one of the best journalism pieces that was done on John Paul Mac Isaac the entire time, because I didn't let him just say, oh, I found this. I asked the questions of, and what gave you the right or what made you think to look at this laptop, which I didn't hear other people asking that.
I'm curious actually now, what was his answer to that question? Because he knew that it was Hunter Biden's laptop from the sign off.
Yeah. So I think he had a weak answer, quite honestly. His answer was because it was a water damaged computer that kept turning off, he had to verify file by file. And he started seeing so much pornography and things that were underage of questionable ilk that he decided that he better map this out and give it to the FBI to make sure that something bad didn't happen to him, which I could believe a lot of that. Like, he seemed like a very trustworthy individual, but I did get the impression that he was more of a Trump fan and it was a political weapon, but he also happened to have really good intel on Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. And that doesn't negate the fact that he was a Trump supporter. He said on my interview he wasn't, but I wasn't buying the way that he went about that.
Well, dude, I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to go watch that now, because I think that's an element, that's an aspect that most people don't really consider. How did he even get there? He knew that when it was dropped off, it was Hunter Biden's. When it's abandoned, well, that's a manna from the heavens, and it's a gift. Yeah. And then you got a good pretext for looking into it, and then once you find the goods. Oh my goodness! And then he must have been crapping his pants, because he becomes an actual at-risk person in society. Right. So what's next for this story now? You're going to publish.
I have a Substack coming out later today, publishing the photos that I told you about that ties Michael's firm, Michael's personal photography to that area of where Erica's photo was taken, so people can see that I didn't just on a whim look at the other stuff that was out there and connect the dots, that I waited for, hey, I have multiple different things that people have sent me, multiple things that I'm observing, and I had enough of a connection at that point in time to run what I ran. And then after that, I'm going to go back to doing my show. I don't expect to spend any more time on this, quite honestly, because I'm sincere with your listeners and with anyone who's finding me. I have no interest in leading the conversation on any of this. I simply report things and let people think for themselves. And this is a really uncomfortable, nerve-wracking position to be in, because I didn't intend whatsoever for any of this to blow up the way that it did. I'm on vacation for the 4th, and I'm just looking forward to spend time with my kids and my wife.
Amazing. I know you have limited time, and I'm not gonna ask you for any more than that. A question: you're not an expert on this, but someone in our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community is asking, "What's the best sign an account is fake in this day and age?" It's a real question, because I get some of them, they say parody, some of them are just a little bit over the top, or some of them have ego and parody, whatever. To some extent, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't. You'll never know. Sometimes I take for granted everything is fake and rubbish, and when you engage with it for a reason. It's maybe to speak to others using that idiotic tweet, even if it's parody, as the pretext. But I try to vet in as much as humanly possible, so I know I'm either not getting duped or not getting trolled.
Yep.
What ways can people practically implement to make sure that an account is quasi real?
So there's 2 things I look for. The first is parody. If your account is, I'm ultra MAGA and blah, 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 and everything on that account never, ever pushes anything away from like this huge narrative of ultra MAGA. There's a ton of accounts that I also uncovered. And I posted yesterday, somebody had sent me this guy who's in Russia that does ultra MAGA accounts. So that's one. When you see parody far left, far right, but so far right, so far left that it's almost comedic, chances are that person's possibly pushing buttons. But here's the main thing. Blurry photos or photos that look too good to be true are something that you should pay attention to, because in today's day and time, everybody has access to a high megapixel camera to make sure that you can be seen. And then the last part is, if you can ever get the person on a photo, AI does not understand how to do hands yet. And if you see somebody's hands, every single time the fingers will be deformed. I promise you. They have not perfected how to do the hand model with artificial intelligence. And so where I see this the most is actually in an Asian market that's trying to scam people right now. And the direct messages like, hey, just came to the country, I'm lonely, do you want to chat? I'm not sure if you get some stuff like that on Twitter, but I get...
No, I actually don't. My DMs
I keep my DMs open for stories, but I get tons, and I delete every single day. I'm like, oh my God, but they're all AI generated images. None of these ladies are actually real ladies. And so, if you look at any of their images of like a photo, their fingers are like twice the size of a normal human hand. And it's only one hand that's twice the size. And so, yeah, that's a huge thing. So I look for parody, things that are far, far off to either side. Doesn't mean that they're fake, but it makes me kind of question whether I even want to get my resources from them. I don't follow a lot of people as that result. And then I look for far, far left, same exact thing. And there's plenty of people that are already right and left. We can follow politicians like AOC or Marjorie Taylor Greene. Both of them are nutballs to begin with. So we can listen to them and hear that stuff. You don't need to go follow those fringe accounts that are so far off to the side.
No, but as some people have asked these questions, I mean, that's the thing, is like, it could be an AI generated account, or it could just be appropriated by agencies for the purposes of political messaging. And I mean, that's what it's one of the same thing. One is just done with meathead Rob Reiner. Right. The other one's done with, I forgot the name of the Brady Bunch, Erica Marsh. Pasha Moyer with a $5 tip says here, Viva, will you be adding links and other references from Greg to locals? Absolutely. And if Greg, not to ask you to do more homework, could you send me the McIsaac interview? I'd love to watch that. What was his last name?
John Paul McIsaac. Yep,
McIsaac. And all of your. I know you're not an influencer, and you could be a teacher. Teachers are influencers.
That's how I approach my show. I approach my show as teaching, and that's what that tweet was about yesterday. This person is not real. I repeat, is not real. I was trying to teach people of the observation that I discovered and the way that it can be weaponized for election interference and other things. So everything I do, when you listen to the show, it's almost like you're in my classroom. Even in conversations with people, I like to get to the whys. I'm not a right-leaning person. I'm not a left-leaning person. I'm more of a libertarian or anarchist in a lot of ways, I guess, the way I approach the world. I hate to use the word anarchist because I don't want to watch things burn. I want everybody to get together, but I don't fit in either of those boxes extremely well. So Yeah,
sorry. Actually, the most important thing, Oblividan on Rumble says, fake or not, I don't believe Erica Marsh should have been suspended. I would argue that allowing racist leftists. Well, this is the question.
Let me address that. Let me address that.
Please.
She didn't get suspended because of me. So there's this big misnomer that I got her suspended because I called her out as fake. She doxed and published personal information telling people to go to somebody's home. And so
I don't want to know who it was. What was the purpose of doing that?
The person was arguing with them. Actually, the person lifted my work and put it as their own, and was going after her, but not in a way that I would. I sent her a really respectful message like, hey, if you're real, I want to interview you. Prove me wrong. I'll quit my show. I was like, let's make this happen. Can I share something that I learned with everybody? Because I think this is the biggest learning lesson of the past 24 hours for me. I'm going to be more skeptical anytime I see somebody with 250,000 plus followers on Twitter, even 100,000, because this thing, even while I've been sitting here, hasn't stopped vibrating. And I've limited most of my alerts and notifications at this point because they've been blowing up. I don't have 100,000 followers. I have like 5,000 followers. I had 2,100, I think, before yesterday, like something like that, 23. I don't know. But I learned that I'm very skeptical that anybody with over 250,000 followers is actually doing the work themselves. I think it's impossible. It's a full-time job. There's no way that people are on Twitter that much, tweeting that much, unless one, they don't have a job, or two, they have a social media manager. It's one or the other. It's got to be their job if that's what they're doing.
Greg, you're right, by the way. not to sound sick, not that I have no one. A trusted group of I work with Robert Barnes, and we do our own research. But yeah, I don't trust anybody else on this earth. Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest problem. And so I was just looking. You're up to 5,300, and expect to go much more than that because you provide. First of all, you have a very soothing, relaxing way of speaking, which I found I like. You're also very smart, and you quote Plato, and you understand it, and it's amazing. And
I got you.
No, but it's like, it's a wonderful discovery. Yeah. People are going to discover you now, and they're going to get the good information and not the bad shit from the Erica Marshes, even if she were real. So she got doxxed. I thought she got, not doxxed, sorry. She got suspended. I thought she got suspended for denying that she was parody.
So I think it's twofold now. I think probably it was doxxed for the first part, and then now it's about parody and the fact that it's being looked into. There's some people that are following what I put out and have asked me for information that I know Elon Musk. Elon has not reached out to me. I don't expect him to. But people that I know that have worked with him are about the story. So my guess is that the people at Twitter are looking at this and trying to figure out what's going on, what can they do about it. But I think at the end of the day, there's not much they can do about it. At the end of the day, it's going to be up to us to figure out if we're being fooled or not. And like I said, when my Substack comes out later, I think you're going to see some of the technology that's out there. I link directly to these sites that can mimic the faces, can mimic the voice. And you're going to start questioning anything. I don't know
if you saw the intro. There was a video that Justin Trudeau just put out, a TikTok-like video. I wonder, it's so bad, I say it must be fake. But I mean, it's dangerous, but it's liberating. We should not trust anything. And then the question is, the problem is, though, sometimes you don't even trust what you see with your own eyes, literally. And so it's very, very destructive for the fabric of society. People can't believe in anything. They think everybody's to be, distrusted. It's sort of like Operation COINTELPRO 2.0 on steroids. Greg, I don't want to keep you any more time than you'll let me know when you have to go, or when okay. So you're coming out with an update Substack. What's your Substack called?
So it's America Emboldened. So it's my name of my show. So Substack / America Emboldened.
Okay, and I'm going to put your Twitter handle right here, and we're going to see what level of conversion this translates into.
Thank you.
I'm following now, and I think I'm glad we met.
I'm glad we met too.
Do I have any more questions? Someone in Rumble says, in a Rumble rant, Oblividan, the technology will 100% be in the wrong hands, namely government hands. It's already there. The best solution is to make sure it's in everyone's hands and build a widespread culture of online skepticism. When does it get to a video of Joe Biden saying he's released nukes on Russia and the AI is indiscernible from reality, and then Putin thinks, holy cows, crazy Joe Biden's gone off the deep end? That is the ultimate risk of all of this, correct?
Yeah. Did you ever watch the movie Wag the Dog?
Yes, but only 20 years ago, so I might have to watch it again.
I mean, Wag the Dog, we were talking about this 25 years ago when that movie came out, where they're picking footage from war-torn parts of the country, other in Europe, and publishing it to use propaganda for American citizens to get the public opinion. We don't need to look through old VHS tapes anymore. We have the ability with the Unreal Engine. We have the ability to do so much that's AI generated. And I always remember something that I heard somebody say years ago. Anytime we see technology, remember that the government had a more powerful version of that before it was ever released to us. That the people at the very top, at the colleges, the universities that are designing this stuff, we don't get to play with it until they're done playing with it, or they need to experiment on how it's going to work. So the fact that ChatGPT and now all these new AI generators for video are coming out, they have a more powerful version of that. So in answer to your question, those videos actually are already there. I mean, you can listen to Freddie Mercury singing Beat It by Michael Jackson. It sounds just like Freddie Mercury. There was a song by Drake and The Weeknd. And I played it for my students, and my students were like, dude, when did this come out? And I was like, it's not real, guys. And they're like, what? And they were convinced they were listening to Drake and The Weeknd with the lyrics and everything else, but it was all artificial intelligence. So, I've even gotten to the point where I start to wonder how much of the music that's on the radio at this point is valid music. And that, here's the big message to it. Within all that, if you look at it from a philosophy standpoint, if you look at it from a faith perspective, you've also got to not get paranoid. You've got to trust and you got to love your neighbors. You got to trust that, everything's okay, everything's going to be well, and that the people that want to use this for the purposes that they want to use it for, all that will come out in good time. And I put on my Twitter yesterday, I saw what I did as I brought a little bit of lightness to dark, but there's a lot more dark out there, and hopefully more people find it and bring it to light. That may not be my mission, but other people are aware now. Maybe they'll start outing more of these accounts.
Greg, thank you for coming on, and let's do this not on vacation weekend when you have more time.
And come do my show. I'll get you on my show as well.
1,000% any day.
Absolutely.
Happy 4th of July, Greg. Thank you very much.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. Take care.
And send me your links. I'm going to put them all around.
Will do. I'll email you. Thank you. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. I like Greg. In as much as he's a real person, maybe he's an AI bot. Plot twist. Greg is AI generated. He doesn't actually exist. I was just talking with a computer for the last 45 minutes. It really is interesting. I mean, it's not new. It's just an iteration of everything that we've already seen in the past with the current technology. So I got to go watch Wag the Dog again. I remember that movie using clips wildly out of context to create public support. I mean, it's what Operation Northwoods would have been that would have been real. They would have actually the government would have set things up. Why set them up when you can just create the impression that they've already been and you don't even have to? It's wild. It's all wild. All right. Now what we're going to do here, we're going to continue going strong on Rumble. Let me share the link with everyone here. Go give Greg a follow. And I want to read his update that he's able to track down that photograph is in Germany associated with that account. That the dude who's behind that, if it is sincerely him, legitimately him, and it obviously looks like it's very suspicious having gone out and blocked everybody, but maybe he was getting harassed so that the block is totally unrelated to the truthfulness of any allegations. If it's true and he's involved, he's never given a public talk. And he's probably getting a private talking to now by the forces that be. All right. Let me just see what I had on the backdrop here so that I can whet everybody's appetite with what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about Hirschman, the coroner, an article called A Clot Too Far, one embalmer dissecting Hirschman's professional opinion to say that Hirschman is wrong and this guy's right, and wait until you hear the argument as to why. And an article from McGill, which we're going to get into as well. All right, everybody, come on over to Rumble. Let's do this. Rumble, link here, ending on YouTube. Oh, what do I have left to do for the day? I got to snip and clip some stuff from last night's stream. I got to post the audio. No, I did just post the audio of yesterday's stream to our podcast. It's Viva and Barnes Law for the People. It's on Podbean, so you can get all of our podcasts there. I'm snipping and clipping to Viva Clips. I'm posting the entire stream to YouTube intact, except for those watching last night. I uploaded it this morning for the 15 seconds of Y'a pas d'arrangement by Zebda that I played at the end. I got a copyright claim, and I'm going to delete the audio because I'm not working for them. So come on over to Rumble right now. That's it. And we're going to talk some more. So ending on YouTube. 3,